Welcome to the Pest Empire Builder podcast. On today's episode, we're talking with Kyle on how he scaled his company to a multi-million-dollar pest control company. And welcome to the show. I'm so glad you tuned in today. Today on Pest Empire Builder podcast, we're here with Kyle Weaver. Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Working hard, living the dream. And for those people who aren't familiar with you, where are you located at?
My business is in San Antonio, Texas, and that's where I live.
Nice, man. I love that hill country. It's beautiful over there.
It is.
Yeah. Have you lived there your whole life?
No, actually moved here to start the business. So it was kind of just a random
for real?
pick. Yeah. Right after 2008, the economy was kind of in trouble, and Texas still had a good economy, and so we kind of threw a dart at Texas, and San Antonio is where we picked, and I'm really glad we landed here.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Where'd you move from?
Idaho.
Okay. All right. Idaho to Texas.
Yep.
Literally just like the economy's better in Texas, threw a dart, San Antonio, you moved in, didn't know anybody here.
Not a soul. Nope.
And decided to start a business.
Yep. That was the game plan. That was our business model right there. You just summarized the whole thing.
That's crazy. Like that's a wild journey to start off that way. Because a lot of times people start because they have a network of people or whatever, but you didn't know anybody.
A plan. Yeah. Usually that's better.
Yeah. That's interesting. So how did you get started? Because is the licensing different from Idaho to Texas? Did that transfer over? Do you have to get a good Texas license?
Yeah. So actually, I did door to door in California for Clark Pest Control, and my current business partner invited me a couple of years later to go sell with him in Houston, and he had started an office over there. And then we decided to start this office over here. And so there was some of the beginning points of that licensing already happening. But there's some higher licensing needs. And so we actually went through the list of certified applicators in the state of Texas and just started calling people and just said, can we pay you to use your license while we take the time to be able to get ours? And so it was about a year for us to get our certified applicators license. And we found this awesome, older gentleman who was actually on dialysis and wasn't able to do services anymore. And so we were able to pay him. And so we'd go over and have tamales about once a month when we'd go over and see him and his wife. And it was great to be able to, get a benefit for us, but also we were making an impact on his family as well, because he wasn't really able to provide for his family. And so it was a huge blessing for them. So we really scored in that avenue. And that was kind of a unique way of going about, progressing through our licensing.
Well, that's a win-win all the way around, right? Because this guy, he's not healthy, so he's not able to work. So now he's able to get revenue coming in. Man, that's awesome. What a great find for you guys to get that whole licensing process started. And then your background of door to door, is that how you built your business? Yeah.
So that was the intent, right? Like you come in with a little bit of arrogance, like, yeah, I can sell hundreds of accounts. I'm really good at what I do. California and Texas are two different monsters. Coming from California to Texas, I was like, man, selling here is easy. Like there's no way we can't, be a multi-million-dollar company in 6 months, a year, just a little bit of arrogance. That was a crippling thing for us the first year. And then, started digging into Google Ads. Pay-per-click back in 2010 to 2012 was relatively new. And so a lot of these things were really new. Even voice over internet was kind of a new thing. And a lot of the tools we use today just didn't even exist. And so it was a lot of learning as things came in and testing things and trying all different avenues. And we were able to really hit a lot of growth on a lot of online marketing. Our door-to-door did okay, and it was able to keep the lights on and able to support us. But diving into the digital world was where we really started to grow. And so I really invested a lot of time in learning SEO, learning Google Ads, Facebook ads, just all digital marketing. And anything that I came across was at least worth testing. And my philosophy on that was, if it feeds itself, it stays alive. And so that was, we'd put a little bit of money in. If it fed itself, then you continue feeding it. And if it doesn't, then it dies. And you just allow that to determine them for themselves, how it's going to survive.
Yeah, I remember those days, like 2007, 2008. Online marketing was a different animal back then. Like the people weren't really leaning into it too heavy yet. So the field was pretty wide open. Facebook ads and Facebook marketing in 2008, nobody was doing it.
No.
It was fairly new. And so if you were to jump in on the early end of the Facebook social media marketing dollars, you got an amazing ROI. The bang for your buck back then was incredible. It was a really great opportunity to really push into the digital. And I don't know, like now a lot of that stuff's really saturated. The social media marketing is really saturated. Yeah. So how do you do marketing now? Like what's changed, right? So in the beginning, it's like we're knocking doors. We're on the forefront of digital SEO and some ad stuff and pay-per-click, which is that even a thing anymore? Hardly, it's still there, but not like it used to be. What do you do now? Like what's the stuff that has changed?
So it's still kind of always testing everything, right? So surprisingly, pay-per-click has been decent for us, but I run my pay-per-click campaigns different than any ad agency is going to tell you how to run it, because they want to run it in the lazy way, right? Like they just want to basically push a button and never have to touch your campaign again and continue to collect revenue from you on a monthly basis. Every time we've hired any type of outside agency, I've run a parallel campaign to them, and then I will show them my numbers and I'll say, why are your numbers half of mine? What's going on? And so after a couple months, it's like, you're not doing anything better than I am. About a month ago, I met a guy who ran the largest pay-per-click or largest ad agency in the world and sold it. And I was asking him, because like home services is kind of a unique animal. Like it's not, online shopping, and it's not all these different things.
Right.
And I walked him through how I build my campaigns, and he was like, yeah, that's what you need to do. It just takes a lot more management. And so most people aren't willing to do it. And I totally understand that, but it's built in a way that if you do it religiously, it takes you 5 minutes a day, super, super easy. And you're able to get the leads that you actually want. So with the introduction of PMAX, that opened a whole nother door. I'm working on that one now. Because what I'm finding is PMAX is the only one. This is going way more in the ad area, but I think hopefully some value. Your Google Maps. Now, if you notice, the top two are now ads. So in our industry, Terminex and Overcame, they're the ones that are showing up every time because no one else is doing PMAX. And PMAX is the only way you're showing up in the actual map. And so
what is PMAX? PMAX?
It's a new ad format called Performance Max. And they're basically saying, hey, give us your money, trust us, we'll manage your money for you. Which is like, yeah, Google, no, not doing that, because you're just going to find how you can spend all my money, which has been proven. So you have to create these guardrails when building your campaign and when managing your campaign so that they're not wasting your money. And it takes a lot of work, and most people just aren't willing to do it. So with PMAX, though, the benefit of showing up on the maps, for me, it was like, I have to learn this. And so I've really invested a lot of time in learning, and we're seeing a lot of benefit from it now. And then we stepped away from Home Advisor when they sold to Angie's, because we were killing it with Home Advisor. We were doing so good with Home Advisor, and then it just went to garbage. And I had this conversation with the guy yesterday and just told him it went to trash. And so I actually called them yesterday and had a conversation with them about the changes they've made over the last 5 years, because that's about how long it's been since we've used them. And he walked me through the changes they've made. And so now we're actually signing back up with them to try it out. I've adjusted some of the structure of my business to where I have someone that is just set aside to go tackle those leads, because, speed is critical. If you're going to wait till tomorrow,
on those ones especially, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So we just have it organized in a way that we can tackle leads quickly, which is a risk because we're paying for somebody that might not get leads. And so we are willing to put that money, on the line and say, if it comes in, it comes in, but you've got to tackle it. You've got to close it. And then, I'll go out and meet with him once a week to just review all of the inspection process. We talk about what other things we can add on, what other benefits, and then just helping them to realize, like, I had this conversation with my team yesterday. If you go to the doctor and the doctor says, like, hey, you broke your arm, we need to put it in a cast, you're not going to go, oh, well, I can make a cast at home, right? You're
right.
Like, I have plaster. So you're going to,
I can watch a YouTube video. This isn't that hard. I can buy all the materials across on the table. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So you put a lot of trust in his knowledge, his background, and you have to understand that these people view you the exact same, whether you give yourself that credit or not. They view you that way. And so
you're the smartest person in the room. Right. Yeah.
100%. And I reminded them, think about how much you knew, if you started 2 months ago, think about how much you didn't know about pest control that you know now. And so helping them to really understand, because pricing on some of our services can be expensive, and in their mind it's like, I don't know that that's right. When in reality we're offering a great value, we're doing a really aggressively priced service for them, and offering way more than a lot of companies that are charging 3 times as much as us. So that, not just bringing in the leads, but then once the leads come in, we're managing, how are those leads getting addressed? Because you can hire a company that's bringing you thousands of leads, but if you drop the ball. So with that as well, like, I built an AI and automation platform that actually captures all those leads, nurtures all those leads, manages phone calls. We're training it to do outbound calls to be able to close those leads and schedule those leads for us. And that's been huge, because now I can take leads 24/7. So the first weekend that we had her running, she scheduled 3 termite inspections for me on a Sunday afternoon. And so when my office came in on Monday, 3 termite inspections were already on the books and ready to go. So she paid for herself hand over fist. So
that's awesome. Yeah, you mentioned AI, and that's certainly the hot topic right now.
Yeah.
In all industries everywhere, but especially in pest control, it's like, okay, how do we leverage AI to help us be more efficient, get more work done, and like doing an AI phone answering, AI other things. What other areas are you using AI in your business right now? Or are you trying to use it?
So I use it for managing my Google business profile. I use it for my SEO. And helping to optimize all of my pages just regularly and consistently. So I have a good friend that I've kind of helped build a pest-specific agency that helps implement all of these things into people's services, and that's been awesome. It's been super fun to be able to do. And then also being able to help a lot of these companies, because we've had so much private equity come in, and they have lots of money. And so it's an advantage that we can use to make our dollar go a lot farther. And so we can now compete with these big guys. So the main ones, Google Business Profile, the AI voice and automation process, that's amazing. We just did a reactivation campaign for all of our lost leads and previous customers, where we just sent an automation that asked them, we set this up back in March. And so it just automatically sent a text message out to everybody asking if they wanted a free rodent inspection, because in San Antonio we have a lot of rodents. When we come into rodents and wildlife get into attics like crazy, and we re-signed within the first 2 days. I think 10 people signed back up, got the free rodent inspection, signed back up. We had a few rodent services for it, and it just a lot of the things that as business owners you're like, oh man, if I just had a little bit of extra time and could get to it. That's what it is. A lot of people, I think, view AI as like, it's going to replace my office. It's going to replace my job. It's going to do everything for me. And it's just not that way. It can do a lot of cool things, but my belief in it, and I've learned a lot about AI, so I feel like I'm coming from a pretty knowledgeable area. You keep it in the kiddie end of the pool and allow it to manage a lot of the tasks that your office either is doing repeatedly or never has time to get to, so that your office can focus on the tasks that really generate money for you and are the big heavy lifting things. And if you do that and use them in tandem, like like the flow of everything is just so much better. Like my office's mental health is just better because of it. If we have to lose somebody, like we had to let go of somebody a few months ago, my office wasn't overly stressed about the extra weight that was going to happen because she knew if she missed a call, yeah, she's got it. Like, and she'll manage it. She sends a recording, a summary, like immediately. So we were able to fire a call center, which saved us $2,000 a month. And so there's a lot of benefits to AI. And people are just I think they're just really nervous. It's just a new technology. And it is, like you said, it's a buzzword right now. So it
is. Everybody's talking about it. Right. And it is a powerful tool. Yeah. And I think anytime you have a powerful tool, it can be used for good or evil. And I think finding a way to plug it into your system to be an accelerator for your business is super important. Yep. AI is not going to send a technician to the house to perform a service. Like, right. You still need a dude or a girl. You need a body person to get into a vehicle, drive out there with chemicals, and tools and equipment and whatever else, and provide the service. So the only, it's not going to replace that, but AI in your office can help lift, like you're saying, can lift some of the load with your marketing and sales. I really think like marketing, sales, your office, your administration, systems, processes, as much automation as you can get in there, I mean, the better off it's going to be. You can run a leaner organization with less stress, everything you're talking about, man. I love how you're partnering and putting that into it. You mentioned something about working with an ad agency. Is that another business that you have? No.
So that just in the past, like I didn't want to continue doing all the daily management. And so we looked for somebody to hand that off to. And so now, like, it's so simple that like if somebody has questions about it, like in these Facebook groups, I'll just say, hey, let's have 15 minutes of a conversation because I can coach you how to do it better than an ad agency. I don't want the money for it because I don't feel fair. Like I don't feel like it's the right thing to do because I'm not really doing anything. Like once you get it set up and established, you just have to manage it. It's really that simple. And so it is helping people to kind of, because these ad agencies, I think they were charging us like they range $2,000. We spend about, $10,000 to $15,000 a month. And so we were chunking in an extra $1,500 every month for just like management stuff that, at the end of the day, they actually crashed my ads and I had to rebuild the entire ad campaign. Wow. They bombed it. And they actually refunded me all of the money that we paid in, which was great. But I lost 4 months of ads because I got nothing from it. It was it was just such a wild experience for me to recognize like these guys that are experts, like really? They're not. Like, a lot of times they're just a dude who was like, yeah, I'll learn how to do that. They watched a couple of YouTube videos and said, okay, cool. Now I'm an expert.
Yep.
And so I think to that point, as a business owner, like that is, I think the first thing that you do when you're thinking about investing into, your time and energy or money into something, go watch a couple of YouTube videos and don't necessarily do it with the thought that I'm going to do this myself. But like, at least you know how to hold those people accountable. Like, their language, the things that you can tell them to do. And I think
so many people have bad experiences with ad agencies. I've owned multiple businesses over the years, and I've had different ad agencies at times trying to help me with growth on some of them. And there's been a few ad agencies I'm like, this is a total ripoff. Like these guys aren't doing anything. And I've had some where like, okay, they're really making it, they're moving the needle. Like they're actually implementing and making things work. And then I hear about these rock star stories about certain people will say, oh, I've got this one guy and he just tears it up for me. Or like you're even saying, listen, I got a way to do it. I do it myself and it doesn't even take that much time. And, so ad agencies are hit and miss, man. Like sometimes they're a little bit rough. And I mean, I think most business owners have a story or two around an ad agency that you're like, man, that was a total waste of money and time.
Right. Which as a small business owner, you don't have the money to waste. And so
no, you don't. Even if you're running a larger budgeted project, like even if you're running $1 million, $2 million a year, as revenue, it's in revenue, right? But even then you have a budget that you have to stick to. And you're, I don't know. I think sometimes when you're a small company looking at the big guys and you think, oh, well, they just have, they don't have to deal with the same issues. They do. And it's a little bit different perspective. Oftentimes as a big company, you're dealing with an extra zero on your issues, and it's like, well, should I spend the $4,500 a month on this? And then it's like the big guys going like, should I spend the $45,000 a month on this? And so, and then the even bigger guys is, should I spend $450,000 a month on this? I don't, in my market, there's a few pest control companies. One of them has massive billboards all over town with giant spiders, like 3D spiders coming off of these billboards, right. And I'm looking at that going, I know how much that crap costs. Like that is not cheap, to do a billboard, number one, to do a 3D billboard with customized lighting and all this other stuff on it. Like those are not cheap. Those are very expensive. And so when you see some of these bigger companies doing that, you're like, man, they're spending, 6 figures a month in marketing. And it's like, man, you get, it's like, listen, the problems are the same everywhere. It's just higher dollar amounts on it. Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's some great guerrilla techniques, posting on Facebook groups, in your neighborhood groups. I think there's a lot of value, but you don't do it as a salesperson. It's like, hey, termites are swarming right now. This is what to look for. This is blah, blah, blah. If you have problems, and you've had somebody do an inspection, I'm happy to come look at it for free, give you my opinion, but just bring value to wherever you're throwing that stuff out there. Next door, there's a lot of little things like that. And then just going and talking to neighbors, at using, which is something we're not strong at, is actually getting referrals from our own clients. I know a lot of people, that's how they grow their business. And that's something that we're working on right now, is just creating that as one of our growth strategies.
No, I love that. Yeah. And I think as a smaller company, small to medium sized company, I mean, you have a significant company. I'm not downplaying that. But when you look at these really huge companies that are buying massive billboards and doing the huge, marketing ad spends and stuff on their thing, as a smaller guy, we're able to be way more, agile in the way that we approach our marketing, and we can customize, we're driving, they have the big cruise ship. We got the speedboat, and then the thing is, with the speedboat, you can change direction quickly. You can adapt to the market super fast as algorithms and things are changing with digital marketing. As a smaller, medium-sized business, you're able to shift and adapt and grow and change and keep your finger on the pulse of it. And the big companies, it takes a long time to turn a cruise ship around. You can't turn that thing around right away, right? And so there's so many advantages that I think it's easy to look at somebody way bigger in our own industry and go like, it must be nice, or to be like, oh, compare myself to them and be like, whatever, I think it's easy to do that. And I think the guys that are huge like that, sometimes they'll look at like smaller businesses like ours and go like, oh man, I remember those days, or I wish we could adapt that quickly. I wish we could keep up with, trends as fast as they can. I just think there's a sweet spot in marketing with us that we can adapt and shift and change and stay on the forefront, versus the big guys.
Right. I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
They definitely, and a lot of them have been around for so long. Like you can't compare your chapter 5 to their chapter 900. But also, like, one thing that I've come to really accept and understand is like my business is only going to grow to the human I am. And so that's been a lot of it, is like, if I'm hitting plateaus, like what do I need to work on? Like what are the developments I need to? And so it's turning back into just a lot of questions. And so that's one of the cool things I've been able to discover about just like ChatGPT is like, I really need you to help me like grow as a human and coach me through these things. And so there's lots of prompting with creating GPTs that I've gotten into that have been super helpful, like building our SOPs for our business. We went back through and had it rebuild all of our SOPs. And it was just a conversation of me back and forth with it. But then just personal growth, like really investing a lot of time in like, I want to be a $5 million business, and I want to be at that point. So what does a $5 million business owner look like? Like what characteristics does that person have? And so trying to meet other business owners, and then it's like, okay, and then you're at 10 million, and then it's like, we got to get to 25, and also what is I think this is, we revolve a lot of things around our career and money, but I think going, what do I want my life to look like, and really reverse engineering from there Because if I'm a $2 million company, a $5 million company, and my life is great, really, what am I complaining about? Like, if I'm really able to provide an excellent life, I have freedom, I have the funds to do everything I want to do, I'm able to leave my children, a great future. Why would I take myself away from them? And so creating these pillars within your life and guardrails that you abide by and you don't cross. So a huge thing for me when we started our business was I never want to miss anything with my kids. And that was part of the reason that, like, in making a decision of what career path I want to pursue, it really eliminated a lot of options. So it was like, well, you have to be the boss is basically what it boiled down to.
Yep.
And so that's been a huge pillar for me. So I have to be, really intentional about I'm making sure I'm able to be at everything. I'm able to support my wife in the middle of the day if she needs help. But go help somebody move into a house if they're moving in and it's 3:00 in the afternoon. There's been lots of opportunities for service because I made that choice 16 years ago. And I'm really grateful for that. But I think a lot of people don't do that. We look forward.
No, they don't.
Next step? We're not reverse engineering. And I think we're missing a lot of joy in life because we're failing to reverse engineer. And it's a really simple thing to do. And you have your foundational beliefs that you want as part of your life. You should make sure they're part of your life. And I don't know. That's something I
love that.
Getting back to trying to be better at, because I was really good at it for a while and I think I've lost it for a minute. And so that is something that's been on my mind for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, what is success, right? Like, what is success in your life? And it's easy to look to the left and to the right and like do comparison and be like, well, this guy over here has a company that's bigger than mine, or this one over here, that guy's a business owner of a different business. And like, he's got fancier cars or a bigger house, or, this guy over here, he's doing this. And sometimes we can start to define our success based on what other people are doing and what other people look like and it's like, oh, they take these vacations. Oh, they have this kind of, they have a great Ferrari collection or something. And I don't have a Ferrari collection, or whatever it is that you want to get into. And, what does a $5 million business owner look like? Oh man, I got to have a Rolex, and like whatever it might be. And but I think comparison steals your joy to where like you're looking to the left and the right. But I think ultimately success is something you have to define for yourself, like what you're saying. And then, success is your business doing for you what you want it to do for you. And if you want your business to provide the time freedom and the financial freedom for you to go to every kid game, every one of your kids' sports event games or whatever program they're involved in, like I don't want to miss any of my kids' stuff either. And I have, thank God, I've built a life to where I have missed very little. I have, every once in a while I miss something, but I don't want to, but every once in a while I have to miss something. I'm out of town or for whatever reason. But like, is my life, is that's success? Like, what else do you want? I got a roof over my head. My bills are paid. I have enough time freedom and financial freedom that I can take my family on a vacation, once or twice a year, and I can go to all my kids' sporting events. And at the end of the day, I don't know, man, like, what else do you want?
Right. And you said it exactly. Like, what is your definition of success? Like,
yep.
I think it always revolves around money. And in all reality, it's like when you die, like that's not, I believe you take two things with you when you die, your relationships and your knowledge. So work on those two things. Like, those are the most important things. Sure. Work your butt off, have a great life. But man, and if I can go back a little bit, like when we started our business and I had mentioned the arrogance, kind of made us, like, I don't know how we survived our first year. Like, in all reality, like there was a lot of hungry nights. We found discounts on ramen noodle. There was a lot of stuff that was like, what are we doing? Like, this is really stupid.
Wow.
I think there was an ignorance that we just didn't know any different. Like, I grew up on a potato farm and it was like, you just keep working. Like, if it's not working out, you just keep going until it does. And I think that was a huge blessing for me. But, sometimes there's going to be those really big struggles. And now for me, that version of success is like, my kids are never going to go to bed hungry. They're never going to know what that feels like. And so for me, that is like a huge success. And not only are they able to have some really cool experiences in life, but I'm able to comfortably know that next month's bills are paid and they're going to be okay. And my kid, like, So that to me is success. And I've said that to some people who are like, that's not success. And it's just, okay, your definition is very different than mine. But to me, the smile on my kid's face is way more important than any bank account. Like making sure they're safe and protected, and that I can raise them into good humans. I'd rather have that than billions of dollars.
I 100% agree with you there, right? Like, and that's it. And you got, as a business owner, you know, even for the people who are listening right now, you've got to define it. If you don't define what success is for you and what success looks like, other people will define it, and you'll get stuck in the comparison trap, and it'll steal all of your joy, and you'll hate going to work, and you'll hate running a business because you always feel like you're chasing and you never arrive. And I got my business up to $2 million. Oh, now I got to 3, now to 5, now to 10, now to 20. And if you're always looking to the left and the right, and you'll never arrive and you'll never get there. And you got to understand the joy is in the journey. And the joy is in understanding that what is success to you. I'll say this too. Like, I've had the privilege of going to a lot of funerals, and I do say privilege. And I was a minister for a long time. And so, I was officiating and part of funeral services, as people were passing away. And out of the, I don't know, hundreds, maybe thousands that I've been to, I have yet to hear anybody talk about the size of house that person had. The Ferrari collection was pretty astounding. They had 2 vacation houses, and I heard they had this much cash in the bank. All the things that we're chasing while we were alive have like zero legacy for us after we're dead. And not to say that we haven't accomplished great things or people didn't make a lot of money, but the things people really talk about that really matter was like, my father he was a good man. He loved me. He cared for me. He showed up at my sporting events. He was consistent. You know, he had integrity. He had character. You know, those are the things that like people remember. And it's so funny. Like, while we're alive, sometimes the trap is to work so hard to get the things that don't really matter. And then once we're gone, we realize the things that really mattered were the things that sometimes we neglected when we were chasing the dream. Yeah.
I used to make it a habit when I met somebody who was, you know, a little older than me, and I would just say, what was your biggest regret in life? Because I want to know what the burdens that you carry. And it was always, I didn't spend enough time with my kids. And like my oldest is 9, and it's like, she was 1 a blink ago. Like, what happened?
Right.
So, my neighbor, his son just got married, and you know, I live in an awesome neighborhood. We all have lawn chairs. We go sit in somebody's driveway, and just there's like 20 kids running around, and all the parents are sitting out, hanging out.
I love that.
And just the other day, he was just like, it's gone in a heartbeat. Just enjoy it. Like, really love it. So. Anyway,
dude, my oldest turns 18 in January. You know, we're filming this in October of 2025. My oldest turns 18. She's a senior in high school. And like the reality of like, oh, like my kid's an adult in a couple months, and just a few months later, she's going to graduate and be in college. And it's gone. Like, she's going to be there. I'm always going to be her dad. She's my daughter, and I'll always be in her life. But this relationship changes. It's already shifted to the place now where, like, I'm not a dad with a little kid. Like, I mean, she's an adult. Like, as a parent, like as a dad, like I'm trying to raise kids to be fully functioning adults when they turn 18, when they leave my house. And so in order to do that, you have to train them to be adults while they're still teenagers. And so, right, she has a job, she's able to take care of herself. Like, she's got a lot of great life skills. But man, there it is. Like, I'm at the end with that one. I have a 15 and 17. They're about to be 16, 18. Man, it's at the end. And just like that, it was like just the other day, we were 5 years old in Disneyland, you know, right. And now it's like, dang, like she was on my shoulders. I'd be walking around Disneyland, and now, you know, now she's driving her car, giving me attitude sometimes, you know?
Yeah. They start young in that one.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
Gives me a lot of attitude.
Yeah. I love being a dad, though. I got to tell you, just love it. It is so much fun.
Like whenever a guy's hesitant and they're like, oh, we don't know when we want to have kids. It's like, just have them. Like, your life will be so much better instantaneously. Like,
yeah. Isn't it wild? Like, I didn't want kids. I literally, like, when I was yeah, when I was coming out of high school and in my early 20s, I was like, nah, I don't want kids. I'm not interested. I'm just a kid. And then end up getting married and my wife at the time, both of us were like, I don't know if we want kids or not. Like we were young, early 20s getting married. And it was like, I'm not sure. I don't know. And then eventually the baby clock goes off with mom and then, and then it's like, I want a baby. And it's like, oh, okay. So we started talking through it. It's like, all right, why not? And man, best decision of my life. Love my kids to death. Love them to death. Yeah. Love being a dad. And that's like kind of loops back around to the whole success thing, right? And the success in my life is like, I want to be a good father and I want my kids to know their dad loves them and cares for them and supports them and cheers them on and is proud of them. And, and I want to launch my 2 kids into this world and hopefully they can have a better starting line than I did. I hope they stand on my shoulders as they go out into the world, their life. And that's success for me as well, which means, maybe I have less dollars in the bank account. Because I worked less, but I was there for them.
Right.
And I hope at least that's my hope and prayer is that that's what they grow up with and they leave, and into adulthood with, my dad was there for me.
Yeah. I mean, that's, God, you start reverse engineering and you really start going, what's it going to be like from my kids' perspective, like what's their reality going to be of my relationship with them, and so, yeah, being a dad is one of the greatest things, but also asking them how can I show you that I love you? Simple stuff, like just really investing in your life, not just your business and to grow in all areas. Cause it's like I said earlier, like that $5-10 million man, it's not just about business. It's like who you are as a human. And so you've got to cover all these different areas to really be able, because you'll begin viewing and having conversations and relationships with your employees that make them feel valued, and then they're performing better that you didn't even realize. But because you worked on the relationship with your kid and how you're communicating with them and having just good mature conversations and really digging into problems and solving those problems with them, you're able to apply that so it's just so valuable to really dig and really try to figure out what are the beliefs that I think are true that just might not be, and really starting to question and look at all the alternatives and really decide for yourself, not just take what was taught to you and handed to you, because we live in a very different world. I was born in 84, and grew up in small town Idaho, on a potato farm. I was driving a tractor at 10 years old, moving pipe, and that was my life. And I didn't learn a ton about the world. And so now I'm going back and going, oh my gosh, I believed these things to just be fact. And I don't know that that's really the way that it is. I think I just had a perception of what it was, but my world is kind of opening up a little bit more, and it just opens your heart a little bit more and allows you to just be a better human and have more empathy. And I think there's a huge chunk of that we remove from business. And if we can get that back into business, not necessarily allowing it to run our business, but showing more empathy and more care, is really, really important. And I think everyone is very different. And even your technicians and, your service people, your office, everybody, knowing how you can help.
Well, it looks like maybe we lost them on the internet.
You appreciate them.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, we glitched just a little bit on the internet there. God forbid the internet fail us, right?
Yeah.
But it's so true, man. As a dad and as our own world perception of what we believe to be true. I think that's kind of a lost art of even our culture. Everybody digs in on their ideas and they don't have the ability to pause and realize, well, maybe my perspective is wrong.
Yeah. Or maybe there's truth I could take from something else. It's not that I'm wrong, but maybe I have 90%. And where can I pull that from? And I think, there's just a lot of value in just opening your brain and trying to figure out how can I be better? So. Right.
And being curious as well. And just being I think the default mode of being curious whenever you hit obstacles, and like you say, that $5 million man or that $10 million man or woman, as you're trying to lead an organization, your leadership skills have to be different in those seasons. It's in the beginning of your business, you have to be a great doer. Like, you have to be really good at doing. You have to be really good at making those phone calls, those outbound sales, those inbound calls. I got to be really good at organizing and scheduling, and I got to be really good at actually applicating, or whatever it might be, and I got to be good at the doing. Well, then as your company grows, now I got to be good at like managing a few people doing it. But then as it grows, now you have to be a good leader, because now you got to lead these people a little bit better than just manage them. And then as you lead them, now pretty soon, where I'm at in my business right now is I have to be a leader who develops leaders who develop leaders. And so it's like a cascading leadership thing. And so now I have a general manager that I've been leading now for 5 years. He's been part of the business. So I've been training him for 5 years on leadership skills. Now, he also showed up at my front door with a ton of leadership skills. So I cannot take credit for his leadership journey, but I can say that I'm part of it. Right. And so now it's like I have a phenomenal leader in my business that like I am leading him, and he's now leading people underneath of him who are now in managing the doers who are on the front line doing. And so it's this cascading leadership. Well, the $5 million man has to be the leader of leaders who's developing leaders. That's a very different skill set than the dude who's going out killing stuff.
Right. There's a lot of depth. You just said, leader of leaders who develops leaders. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm developing leaders who are developing leaders. Right. Yeah. You got to have that leadership development chain built into your business. That's what a $10 million business guy looks like. Right. Is that, man, the heavy lifting for me right now in my business, what I'm doing is, can I be the leader that is developing leaders, that's developing leaders? And that is like, it's wild how we all start our business doing the thing on the front line. And then as our business is growing, we have to quickly learn how to have a whole nother skill set to be able to run an actual business rather than just do the thing.
Well, and remember what you didn't know before you learned all of it, because half the time you go back to teach someone, you're like, why don't you understand this? And it's like, you got to remember what you had to learn. And that's really hard.
It is really hard. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. There was, the unconscious, right? Like, because in the beginning, you don't you don't know what you don't know. And so you're just like purely ignorant of when you're starting a business, just like you said, I'm going to go knock on some doors, and 6 months from now, I'll have a multi-million-dollar pest control company. Right. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. And then pretty soon you're in that and you're like, holy cow, there's a whole lot of stuff I don't know. And you're aware of what you don't know. And so then you have to go learn and grow and develop. And there is a point in the development journey where you are unaware of what you don't know again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then you have to go, oh, wait, I don't know what I don't know, or I don't remember what I don't remember. And then it's like this whole circle of how it goes. And so, it ends up being back in a place of a higher level of ignorance, essentially, because you don't know what you don't know on the top end as well,
right.
And and so it's like this whole,
which is great.
It does. It keeps you humble. And when pride creeps in, our pride and ego wants to take over, because I have a $2 million whatever, like look at me with all my successful employees, and our pride and ego wants to kick in. And I'm big stuff, look at my Rolex. And, clearly my Rolex, right? Yeah. My wrist is bare, but look at my Ferrari collection, or whatever it is that you want to look at. And you're like, look, I am successful. And it's like, but man, that stuff will trip you up so hard. It'll trip you up so hard. The world has a way of humbling us when we get too big for our britches.
Yeah. It's like clearly God designed learning to keep us humble too. Like just the whole process of it is like, no, you're not that smart. Trust me. Like, don't think you know everything, because you don't.
Right.
And there's wisdom in that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where kids come in, because they teach you too that you don't know stuff.
And they're a reflection of you. Like
they really are.
That's the hard part. Is like, why do you I know why you do that. Crap. Like I have 2 girls and then a boy and then another girl, and that little boy tries me so hard, and all of it is just characteristics of me. Like everything he does, I'm like, oh, I totally know how you feel on that one, but dude, that's annoying. You've got to stop that.
Yeah, it's funny. My kids will do something that really drives me nuts too, and then I'm like, "Yeah, but I do the same thing." So they learned it from me. Apparently, I'm annoyed with my own reflection in my kids. Yeah, totally. Which is probably what they're annoyed with me too as teenagers. They're probably like, "Oh, my dad," So it's us reflecting back on each other, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man. All right. So, what are some of the things that you've learned? Well, how about this? When you're growing, let me phrase a question. When you're growing, did you find plateau levels that were like harder to break through? Or was it like one of those just kind of like slow and steady growth? Like, did you find plateau levels in your business, or was it just like just clicking the whole time?
I think when that belief or that idea that you just mentioned, like you don't know what you don't know. Like when the first time I heard somebody say that was in like a networking meeting, and it blew my mind. Like I had to think through it multiple times to actually grasp what he was saying. Like, I don't even know what I don't know. Like that blew my mind. Like there's things that I don't even like realize that I don't even get. Like, holy crap. And so that concept for me, I've always just been really naturally curious, and I love to learn. And so I don't really even listen to music in my vehicle. Like it's books, it's podcasts, but I'm trying to categorize them by topic. And I'm really trying to go, okay, like I'm trying to learn, like right now, the concept of money. Like I didn't grow up with a financial understanding or background. It was just you go work, you earn, and then you're able to feed your family. And so I'm really trying to just understand the psychology, like how money works, which is a very like, I'm saying it and it's like, well, you just earn money and you go spend it. Blah, duh. But I think there's depth there, and I'm really digging into that. And
there is a lot of depth to that.
Yeah. And that's been kind of fun for me. And so I'm asking a lot of questions, and I'm doing a lot of research there. But for us, I think the biggest plateau was probably the willingness to really try a new avenue that we weren't familiar with, which isn't necessarily around a financial standpoint. Like we were at $500,000, and then all of a sudden we broke through. Like it was really just the transition from like we were really leaning on door to door. The recruiting process. We were getting older. We were living in San Antonio. We had developed families here. I wasn't going to go travel everywhere to try to recruit people. And so we started to kind of phase out of that and kind of abandon it. And so that transition more into the digital world, like I had dipped our toes a little bit into it, but trusting that was going to be something of value was a really scary thing. And so I think the plateau existed because we were so slow in investing back into it, because it was just a scary new thing. But that goes back to like I was able to learn what you don't know, really dig into it, really start investing a lot. But like even when we started, like YouTube wasn't really even, I mean, it was like silly, videos, and that was all YouTube was used for. And so the education part kind of came later. So kids today, or I mean anybody just starting a business of any type, has so much more available resources to be able to go learn. But like you've got to be willing. Like my wife gets annoyed because like my nighttime, if I'm trying to learn something. So like when I was really digging into the automation and AI stuff, I was watching videos till 1-2 o'clock in the morning. Go to bed. She's got her TV show on, and I'm just watching videos trying to understand how automations work.
Right.
And you've got to be willing to have that curiosity and look for the what is it that I don't know that I don't even know, and kind of unlock some of those things. Because once it unlocks, you can start asking those questions. And that is something I've learned with AI, like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all of these, is saying, hey, I want to learn this subject. I don't know a lot about it, and I would like you to ask me questions, kind of gauging my understanding, but then I want you to teach me very foundationally, as though I don't have a clue, I don't know anything about it, and I really want you to ask me questions and present topics to me, and we can go down these lines and really kind of get some more depth to it so that I understand, and then I can start asking questions. And that's been a great way to be able to gain knowledge way faster, because I have this awesome resource that is now my educator. And so I don't need to go look for books. I don't need to go dig through YouTube. I can just have conversations. And that's been really, really cool to do some personal development with.
Yeah, no, I think that's incredible. AI is a super powerful tool. And in fact, here's the shameless plug and segue into Pest Empire Builder, because one of the things that is also a great tool is joining a mastermind group like Pest Empire Builder, because now you're in the room with people who are a few steps in front of you. And so as you're trying to go, the whole idea of like, you don't know what you don't know, when you surround yourself with other like-minded business owners, especially in an industry that you're already in, you end up learning things that you didn't even know to look out for. And one of the things that's helped me with my current home inspection company is being part of the Pest Empire Builder podcast or group. And they would say, hey, watch out for this speed bump, watch out for this pothole. Hey, when you turn this corner, you want to step on the gas. Like, I know your natural instinct is going to want to pull back because of what you just went through and navigated, but this is your straightaway, step on the gas. This is where you're going to take ground. And so to have people who are a few steps in front of you, like on the 2 million trying to get to 5 million, what are the 5 million guys telling you to do? Like, the $5 million guys have a common theme of like some coaching and some guidance to help you get there. Meanwhile, the 5 million guys are going like, I want to get to 10. And they're talking to the $10 million guys, you know, and how do I get there? And how do I get there? You know, and so I think finding like-minded people who understand what success is, valuing family, taking care of like all those other things, personal development, but also watch out for this pothole, watch out for the speed bump. You know, just having that coach to kind of help you, or a group of people who are steps ahead of you coaching you, is great. I mean, I think being part of a community like that is super helpful. It's been helpful to me, at least.
Well, I think home services is unique in that I have been able to call people that own businesses in California that are doing $10 million, and he'll block off an hour for me and just be able to pick his brain. And it's like, where are you going to find that? Like, there's so many just good people who are like, we're not in competition. There's enough to go around. We're all okay. I want everyone to be able to eat. And so let's grow together. And I think you find way more of those people in the home services area than you do in a lot of other industries. Yeah. The cutthroat is just not really present in our industry with most businesses.
Not really. Like, there's so much work to be had. It's like your business is not going to do every single property in all of San Antonio. Like, it's just not. Right. And so, you know, your market share is going to like, and you can grow your market share without taking from somebody else. And that's the beautiful thing about home services is that, and you're right. I think most of the guys that are in it, that are growing and doing well, they want to help other people, you know, cause I don't know, man, once you find that time freedom and that financial freedom to be able to be successful in whatever you deem success, like, man, it's like, wow, I want to help everybody that I can, to be able to achieve this, you know, like this is, and that's actually why I run the podcast is like, I don't get paid for this. I do this for free because I just so love helping other people find the time and financial freedom that they need, that I found. I want them to find it so that they can have great families and be good parents and, you know, and go find and chase the dreams that they want to chase.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, dude, this has been a great conversation. I mean, I know we started talking about like business, but it really ventured into some really great deep topics as far as personal development and who we are as people. And man, I just love getting to know you and your story. And I imagine those people here that are listening that are going to say, man, I got questions, or I want to learn more about that. Like, if someone gets a hold of you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
I mean, Facebook, Kyle J. Weaver is on Facebook. I'm happy to even give my cell phone number. Like, I don't care if people want to text or give me a call. I'm happy to answer questions. If you DM me on Facebook or just friend me, and then, you know, I'm happy to answer questions. I'm happy to even talk through stuff. Maybe block some time off to just, you know, have a call with you. But I really, like, I'm kind of at that point where I really want to look back and just be giving back to the industry that's really treated me and my family so good. And so that's kind of my goal right now.
I love that, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. This has been a fantastic episode. I've really enjoyed getting to know you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right.